Hello guys, and very welcome down into my basement. So today we are going to talk about this Stark CMR battery emulator. I have now hooked this up to my BYD Atto 3 battery, and the battery itself is installed under my porch right behind you. And I have earlier used two LilyGos together with that battery. But now when Johan, who is the developer of those units here, contacted me and asked me if I could try this out, so well, of course, I would be super happy to do that. So let's now go out into my garage and take a closer look at it and see what we will find. Here we go. So here we have it, and you can see that it comes in this kind of box that gives the Stark CMR really good protection. So it's most likely that this is going to reach your house without any damage during the transport. And we of course have some papers here. So let's take a little closer look at this. And you can see that we have an QR code here. Make sure to scan this, and then you will find the instruction manual. So make sure to read everything. And now let's take a closer look on this Stark CMR unit here. As you can see, it's really glossy and nice. And yeah, it's made out of plastic. And it also have this DIN rail on the back side. This is really nice, so it will fit just perfectly in a kind of a small electrical cabinet or something. And then we have this here. And I think that this is pretty much what we pay for, to be honest. This is a CE mark, and that means that this is certified in any way. So yeah, this is approved. This is not like the LilyGos or something. So this will make the life so much easier for both the electrician, who is going to certify everything in the end or approve everything, so you actually can use this together with your battery and then connect your inverter to the grid, because in Sweden at least we have some pretty high regulation before we can connect any inverters to the grid. So the electrician there, he will even look at the battery, of course, and not just look at the inverter itself. So yeah, it will make the life much easier for both you as an end user and of course also for the electrician who is going to approve everything. So here is how it looks, and you will find all the inputs and outputs on this side here, and then we have the data communication on the other side. And to the most left here we have the power supply, and it can take a wide voltage between 5 to 16 volts. And to the right here we have the pre-charge output, and this output is relay controlled and can handle a current up to 7 amps continuously and 12 amps for a short period of time. And then we have some outputs here. You have actually 3 outputs via MOSFET transistors, and they can support a load up to 0.65 amps continuously and up to 1.4 amps as a maximum. So let's switch this around and take a look at it from this side. So here to the most left we have the RS485 communication port, and then in the middle of those 3 we have the native CAN port. And to the most right here we have the CAN FD. So you can decide if it should be CAN native or CAN FD. Really nice. And by the way, those CAN ports here, they are isolated from each other, so you can use it together with some inverters that don't like to see any vehicle CAN over the Canbus protocol. And on the top here we have some LEDs, and you can see that this status LED here will show you a red, green or a yellow light, and yeah, we don't like the red one there. The pre-charge LED will show you when the pre-charge relay is active, and then we have the contactor for the high voltage negative, and then under there we have the high voltage positive and also the power to the BMS. Everything indicated directly on the Stark CMR. So that's pretty much what we have here, and well, there is one more thing actually, and this is this port here. You will find 7 extra headers here, or GPIOs, and you can use that with some extra stuff, I guess. I am not planning to use this at all. You can read the manual if you would like to find more about those stuff. I guess that you can hook up some LEDs or other fun parts if you would like to do that. And you will of course have the connector here in a separate bag. Alright, we are now going to open it up and just take a little quick look inside of it here. So here we have it, and we'll try to show you everything here. It's a little hard with the light. But there is the ESP chip, and then we have the USB-C port down there to the left between the chip itself. And we have those dip switches. Let me turn this around a bit. We have those dip switches here, and they are for the N termination. You can see that we have 120 ohms here. And it's for the 485 and the CAN and the CAN FD ports that we did talk about earlier. So really nice if we would like to have that. Normally you would like to have that, but you have the option to remove it also. So that's just great. And we have some power LEDs here, and some reset buttons. Pretty much you should not be inside here and do anything else than just maybe change the termination resistance and then connect it so you can program it. And when you have programmed it right the first time, you can do that over the air later on. So that's highly recommended. And by the way, when we now have this light on, you can actually see the copper traces here. So this board is made of much thicker copper than normal, and this will probably make this board to last a lot longer than normal boards like the Lily Goes and stuff. And you can really see it here. So here you have all the copper leads, and you can really see how thick they are under this black epoxy here. So yeah, it looks really, really nice, I have to say. Alright, I am now going to put everything back together again, and then we are going to go down into my basement and we are going to install this between my inverter and the other stuff. So here we have my small power station, and we are looking at an Solax hybrid inverter rated to 15 kilowatt, and this one is currently hooked up to my BYD Atto 3 battery. And then we have some breakers and some fuses and also a microcomputer that I currently run Home Assistant on here. So this one is controlling my whole system here. And then we have this Eddi here. So this one sends the energy that will go out to the grid when my batteries are full and the system here is exporting energy. Well, then if the energy prices are low, then this is going to heat my water first, and then when that water is heated, then it's going to go out to the grid. Or if the energy prices now are high, well then this is going to just wait and sell the energy out to the grid. So this is between my power meter on the wall outside and this hybrid inverter. I just wanted to show you what I have here first. So the most important thing here is the Stark CMR, of course, and it is going to sit in this little box, and I plan to set this box somewhere around here, maybe a little lower. Yeah, I think that will be good. So my plan is to have a network cable that will go up here with a positive and a negative, and then also the CAN to the hybrid inverter and also the CAN to the battery. So I only have one cable up in this one, so it looks nice and not a lot of cables everywhere, because I don't like that at all. Alright guys, let's now install this to the wall and do some work here. Something like that. So the blue and blue-white and the green and green-white is going to be for the battery and for the inverter, the Canbus of course. And those is going to be my power wires. So I am going to untwist them. So it's now time to install this Stark CMR to the DIN rail here. And if you haven't already, it's time to program it. So you will find a link down in the description that leads to Dala the Great's YouTube video when he shows you how to set everything up. Because this will not work right out of the box, because it depends on which kind of battery you are using and also which kind of inverter you are using. So make sure to take a look at that video to set your system up. So here we have it. All the wires are now connected and I am actually pretty happy with it. I am not going to use any contactor or relay control because my BMS are taking care of that inside of the battery instead. So that's really great. That is not possible if that battery is crashed, because then everything in the BMS there is locked and the state of charge is also frozen. So if you have a locked battery, you of course have to use those outputs here. But in my case, my battery is not locked, so I'm not going to use those for now. And then we have the Canbus in from the battery and the Canbus out to the inverter. I am also using those Canbuses in isolated mode because those Solax inverters are so extremely sensitive to those CAN data. So there we have it. We are just going to compare this unit with that one that I have built earlier that you have seen in my other videos about this battery. So here we have that box that I built for my system here from the very first beginning. And I mean, it's not that bad, but it's definitely not certified in any way. So we have one LilyGo here with a CAN add-on card on it. Earlier I used two LilyGos, and the only downside with that is that you need to update both boards if you do any change in the software or something. But now when you only have one LilyGo and this CAN add-on, it's only necessary to update the LilyGo there, so that's really nice. And then we have some breakers here, and in this setup I use this as my constant power, the ignition, and the 5-volt power to this phone charger here that will supply the LilyGo and the CAN add-on board with the 5-volt power. But you can also use those breakers here to control the pre-charge circuit and then also supply the high voltage positive and the high voltage negative relay inside of the battery. So yeah, it depends on your needs with your battery, of course. So here we have it, and I have to say that it looks really good actually. So it looks pretty professional. So I think that an electrician, he would gladly approve this. At least I would. Yeah, that's great. Now we just have to do one more thing, and that's to apply power to it, and hopefully we can keep the magic smoke inside of it. And here is my power supply. So this is just a normal AC to DC adapter rated to 12 volt and 2 amps. And that's just enough to supply power to my Stark CMR here, and also the BMS and the contactors inside of the high voltage battery. And then I also have this small UPS unit here. And how this works is that if now the power fails to this one, let's say that a circuit breaker opens up or something like that, well then this one takes over that workload and supply the Stark CMR with power, and also the most important thing, supply the power to the contactors inside of the battery so they don't open up if something like that happens. Because it's never good to open up relays under load, especially when we are talking high voltage and DC power here. Let's now apply power to the Stark CMR and see if it wakes up. Power on in 3, 2, 1. There we have it. We have green light and we have some red light for the BMS power. And let's take a look at the display here, and you can see that we have the state of charge here showing up. So that's great. And by the way, there is one more thing that you need to know about those inverters here. They seem to behave a little bit strange sometimes, because suddenly the voltage in the Canbus port will be too high, and that voltage will then travel up to the battery emulator, and your CAN transceiver inside of the battery emulator will then be toasted. So make sure to order a CAN insulator so you can protect your battery emulator from the hybrid inverter here. And I'm not sure if there is other inverters out there that behaves like Sulax does here, but it's a little bit strange, but a really good thing to know about before you hook everything up here, so you don't kill your battery emulator. So, what do you think about it? Or what do I think about it? Well, I like it, and I like it a lot. And you have to keep in mind here that you have everything here. You don't need to go and buy some kind of relays or LilyGos or a CAN add-on card. You have everything inside of this Stark CMR. And it's also easy to install and then easy to program, but that's pretty much the same as all of the battery emulators, of course. But the biggest advantage with this Stark CMR is that it is CE certified and it is looking really great, so it will be much easier for an electrician to certify it and also prove your whole system and send those papers into your electric company so you actually can hook your system up to the grid and not just be off-grid. It is definitely not the cheapest unit, but it is definitely worth it. So please check out the link down in the description. You will find a lot of links there so you can find this one, but also some other stuff that I have been talking about here earlier. Alright, this will be everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you next time. Take care and goodbye.